And we are live.
Hello. Happy New Year, everyone. This is an exciting
Happy New Year.
Facebook Live. Yeah, exactly. 2025, here we are. And I'm really hopeful, excited. We had a nice New Year's Eve, and I hope everyone did as well. Ours was very quiet, which I love. I love just having a really easy night home. No traveling, actually. Hey, I'm Samantha Brown, and this is Kevin O'Leary.
Hi.
And we are the producers of the Emmy Award-winning travel series, Places to Love. And this is our Facebook Live, and this is where we talk travel, as well as connect with you, our wonderful community, and show you one of our episodes from the previous season. That would be season 7, I believe.
Yep.
And we show you an episode and watch it along with you and give you sort of a behind the scenes look at what it takes to make a travel show. We love doing this with you. Again, it's a really nice way of just being, just having more personal time with the people who have truly made our success. And we do feel that way. Mm-hmm. We know that we would not be here were it not for our strongest fans. And that is you. We've got people already in the house. Daniel, how are you doing? We keep forgetting to, what is it going to take for us to remember? Hey, just Dan, we've got pictures of you. That's a picture.
It did happen.
So I don't want to, post that without agreeing. But if I had a picture of us for the next Facebook Live, would it be okay to show that? Just answer there, that'll be your release.
It's a legally binding social media.
That is
agreement.
a legally exactly. We own your image in perpetuity for now in media known and unknown. Okay, who else we have? Bill Johnson. Happy New Year from Virginia. Happy New Year, Bill.
We're going to see Bill on the cruise in June.
Which one? Oh, June.
Yeah.
Nice. That would be the Alma Magna. I'm already excited. My dad and stepmom will be there. My in-laws will be there. A lot of people.
Maybe your husband and kids.
Probably not. There's school. That is a conversation that Kevin and I have been having.
Yeah.
Should we take the kids out of school for 10 days?
It's
2 weeks before the last day of school so they can be on this cruise.
Yeah, I think the answer is yes. They're in 6th grade. It's okay. They will remember that cruise more than the second to last week of 6th grade.
I think they might be like, what's Serbia?
And they will find out.
Listen, we don't go to private school where you can just pull your kids out of school and they're fine with it because you spend $50,000 a year.
He's back.
David Dean is back.
He's back.
Love your profile, David Dean. Who took that? Who took that picture? I took that picture. That was when David and I and Kevin and the twins were all on the Alma Magna for the Danube cruise, the Upper Danube cruise this past summer, which I hosted, which was absolutely magical. And this was David's reaction to pulling into Budapest and being right there. I believe that's the Parliament building right behind you, if I'm looking at that correctly. And just being overcome with absolute joy. And that's how you feel, especially on a river cruise, because you are so just immersed in the place that you've just pulled into. It's just surrounding you. And Budapest is one of the most dramatic places I have ever, sailed by and parked along, and it really is pretty amazing.
And since you're talking about Budapest, we'll be leaving for Budapest June 15th this year on the Alma Magna.
So you would fly into Budapest, right? And then we would depart from it, but then we don't go back to it.
Correct. So it ends in Bucharest area, and there's only one room left, so we're not going to talk too much about that. But it's
pay no attention to the lower Danube.
You mentioned it, but it's exciting. Jeff is our friend Jeff. I lost it. I had it. There it is. He's watching on YouTube for the first time. How's it going, Jeff? What do you think? Are you on the big chair, like lazy boy recliner with the YouTube remote? Is that what's going on?
Ooh, a YouTube remote? Is that the new thing?
Well, if you have any sort of smart TV these days that has a YouTube player in it, you can just...
Is that right?
I'm doing this.
Why do we not have one of those?
We have that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we're always up here. We're not watching the show.
No, all right. We have remotes. I just have never seen a YouTube.
And our YouTube channel is at Real Samantha Brown. We almost have... we're very close to 50,000 followers on YouTube.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
hey, it's getting there.
We started really late on that one.
We started really late. Really late.
But we're trying to post more content on there, and that's going to be more coming actually on that whole thing, because we have someone working on creating a lot of YouTube content that will be posted in the next start posting in the next few months.
Cool. Arson, good evening. Craig, it's your birthday. Everyone do a shout out to Craig. Happy birthday, Craig. Excellent. So is it the 2nd or the 3rd? What is the date? Oh, it's the 2nd. Oh my gosh. One of my best friends, her birthday is on the 2nd. And she's never been really thrilled about that, because everyone's kind of done and they're exhausted. And Craig, do you enjoy that? Or is it kind of nice? Do you like the big party, or you like the fact that you can just kind of, lay low on your birthday?
Got a lot of people waiting in. Colleen saying take them out of school.
That's
but
true.
of course you'd say that, Colleen, because you're pretty good at taking kids out of school. I think your niece is always traveling with you.
They'll learn more on the cruise when they would learn in school.
Yeah, there was someone else that waited in here.
That's true. Yeah.
Lori Dixon took all 50 states.
We took our kids.
They wouldn't be able to do that if they were in school.
Very educated.
That's funny.
Yeah. I know. They're just. We should probably say they're in middle school in sixth grade, and this is where. All right, maybe next year it gets serious. So our kids go to New York City public school, and the school system here is crazy, and that by 7th grade they are testing into levels, and those tests get them into certain high schools. You don't go to your nearest high school. You can test into any single high school in all 5 boroughs, in Manhattan, here in Brooklyn. If you know Fame, that is LaGuardia. That is a high school in Manhattan, and you actually audition to get into that high school. There's all these really top tier high schools that you have to, it's the stress level. I'm already feeling it. Yeah. But they used to do it in elementary school. They would have to test in to middle school, but they found out, no big surprise, that it was just a little, unfair. At 5th grade, you're testing into middle schools, and so of course some middle schools were better than others, and now they've done away with that in our district anyway. But so it's a series, you just don't get to go to the high school that's in your neighborhood. There, I'm going to rest my piece. Sorry.
I got a nice comment here from Stacy Hawkins. I think he's in Houston.
Hey.
She was in Naples, ate at Grouper and Chips, and the staff raved about how wonderful you guys were to work with.
Well, I'll tell you, they were delightful as well. Grouper and Chips, we love them. Mother-daughter team, small business owned, and they were just wonderful. Really, I think 18 years they have been in business. They've been there for a long time. Yeah, it's the real deal.
Couple other things. We talked about the cruise, but the other cruise during the summer in August 5th through 15th, Monte Carlo to Athens on the brand new Oceania Allura. It's the 2nd or 3rd sailing. And I created a link called samb.tv/med for more info on that sailing. Again, it's samb.tv/med. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you start in Monte Carlo, you hit Florence, Rome, the Sorrento area. We're going to Pompeii that day.
Pompeii, exactly.
Then you loop over to Greece and hit some of the Greek islands, then Turkey, and then back to Athens.
That's going to be spectacular. Yeah. And the kids are going to that one.
They're definitely going to that.
Yeah. So listen, they do get to go on some trips. So anyway, it's 2025, and I don't know if anyone follows me on social media here, but if you do, hopefully you saw my post just about how travel marks a fresh start. And I've always believed that is what makes travel unlike any other, experience, entity in our lives, that it really is a new beginning, and it doesn't matter where you're going and how long you're going for. I've always believed that, if you watch or you look at social media, I'm always inundated by images of everyone doing first class and really amazing suites. And I think it starts to create this idea that if you don't travel that way, that it's not worth it. And so I just wanted to put that message out there, that I've never believed that. I've always just really enjoyed travel in any way I could enjoy it, right? And that could be within my own home state. It could be just getting in the car and going somewhere for the day. And with that in mind, what are your plans for 2025 for marking a fresh start? Where do you want to go? Maybe you have some big dreams, share them on the board. We would love to kind of see what people have just inklings of. Are you planning your trips now for the summer? A lot of times, if you've got big summer travel plans, now is the time that we start to look at those prices and see when we can book those flights so we can get the best prices. So not sure where everyone is thinking about going. Everyone's still commenting on the on the school thing. Our junior high was just 7th and 8th back in the 70s. That was lucky. People are talking about how that's really the way to go these days with school. But ours is 6th, 7th, and 8th. Let's see. I'm excited to plan. Oh, damn. I think I remember how to do this. Sorry, Kevin's making drinks. But Dan says, I'm excited to plan trips for the year. Just don't know yet. Maybe this will be the year an Alaskan cruise finally happens. There's also Santa Fe and a return to San Francisco. Well, Santa Fe is absolutely one of my favorite cities. We returned to it during our Route 66 show. So it was great to be back there. Oh my gosh, the smell of that gin is going to make me pass out. Oh my
Who's drinking martinis tonight?
Woo.
That was the drink of the day. Woo-hoo. Hey, Linnea's here. Hey, Linnea.
All right. Who?
Our friend Linnea from Oregon.
Hi, Linnea.
Hey, Linnea.
Hey, the Oceania trip looks great.
Yeah.
Cindy Fitz says, I'd love to go to Germany. Hey, Linnea, how you doing?
So it's speaking of Oregon, just, we're going to feature this in the show, but this is Freeland Spirits out of Portland. It's women owned and operated. They're awesome. And they sell it in Brooklyn. I was able to get a bottle because the one we brought back from Portland was gone a long time ago.
I had no part in that.
But this is a really strong gin, so I'm going to let this dilute a little bit because it's
stronger
than usual.
I was going to say, are there weaker gins? I didn't know. Are there?
This is a Navy style. It's stronger alcohol.
Navy style. You're really making your wife a Navy style gin.
Making a very small Navy style gin.
Oh my God. Guys, unbelievable. And I forget how to do this, Kevin, where you kind of highlight it
Just
and you
click
can.
it once.
Oh, okay. Click it once. See, I married tech support. It was in our vows. I'm already losing it. Right. So there you go. You go.
Which one?
Well, now I lost it. How about there? Okay. Lori is going to Aruba later this winter. That's very nice. That's the time to go. Definitely. I don't think I've... Oh, no, I have been to Aruba. Yeah. It's beautiful. Really amazing. We're going to England in a wedding for spring. Oh, here I go. I'm going to try to highlight it. Here we go. Guys. Oh, I think I got it. Send. All right. Anne is going to England for a wedding trip in spring. Anne, you know about the new UK visa rule that goes into place. What does it go into place? Goes into effect, I think, the 9th. Who else knows about that? It's really simple, but you do have to go online like 3 days before you leave and fill out a form and maybe pay a small price. But just so you know, some of the rules going to the UK have changed ever so slightly, but you should know about them. Here we go. Edward Lopez is going to Romania in April or November. Nice. I've never been to Romania. We'll be going in June. Okay, guys. Cheers.
Cheers. So New Year. Happy New Year.
Oh my gosh. Smooth.
Yeah.
Really lovely. Boy, you know how to make a great drink. Hey, just as a warning, if you only see one of us because I've passed out, just that you know what happened. I had more than one sip of that. I already feel it in my toes. Where's everyone else going?
David has a similar comment, except he's going to remember more that happened after the gin.
Thanks, David.
This is a good one. Jen Albanese? Cruise the Columbia River. That'd be a great cruise. Ended in Portland. There's 2 fantastic donut places in Portland.
There's Voodoo Donuts and then...
Blue Star.
Oh my gosh, those.
And the Blue Star is more adult. The Voodoo ones are fun.
Yeah.
But the Blue Star ones are
That's
like.
right. We got a bunch. We got a dozen of those.
They used to have them in the airport. I don't know. That is good eating there.
Yeah. They have a Voodoo Donut, I think, in Denver, the Denver airport.
Really?
Yeah, I believe. All right.
Oh, that's fun. Tracy Clemens, thanks to your show, is going to Fredericksburg this April.
Texas.
And
right?
I tell you, April in Fredericksburg, you got the wildflowers.
Wildflowers, absolutely.
Weather's probably nice there. It's not crazy hot. Maybe do some tubing. We didn't do that in the show, but we were a little early for that, I think.
Yeah, I think we were early. Yeah. It's so beautiful there. Yeah, check out I'm sure you are, Tracy, but go online. I think that was season
1.
That was season 1? Oh my God, of course it was.
That was the second episode
That was our second episode we filmed, of course, yeah. Our itinerary was fantastic, and I just talked to a friend who's like, oh yeah, we went to this really great restaurant in Fredericksburg. It was kind of cool, and I'm like, was it Otto's? I'm like, yeah, it was Otto's.
Right, yeah.
So Otto's is still a thriving, great young couple who kind of have a more European upscale take on, it's more of a European bistro, which is really lovely. I love barbecue. I love everything there, but after a while, you just kind of want something a little, I don't know, upscale.
We got a vintage fan, Andy Wooten. How you doing?
Hey, Sam. Hey, Kevin. Happy New Year's. Vintage fan, Andy, since 1998.
That is vintage.
Hey.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't mean like that. I meant just, that was early days.
Those are early days. Yes. Trips for April. Jeff is saying trip for April is now booked. I'm now timing out the hikes. Utah. Oh,
nice.
Fantastic. Yeah, I love Utah. I used to ski Utah a lot in my early 40s, no, late 30s, mid 50s. I don't know. See, one sip.
One sip, you're done.
One sip.
I'll take over.
I'm gonna have 2 sips.
Yeah, the trick with martinis and that kind of stuff just everything has to be cold.
Yeah.
And then it tastes pretty good.
Yeah.
So, today's kind of a big day for us. Obviously, it's the new year. That's exciting. But today was the day that season 8 launched. And the crazy coincidence that has nothing to do with anything is that we looked up the first main stations that aired Places to Love season 8, episode 1, which is northern Costa Rica, happened to be Portland, Oregon. And it just finished at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
How random is that?
Yeah, that's pretty great.
So literally anyone from Portland was watching the show from 8:30 to 9 tonight.
Yeah.
You get rolled straight into this. It would have been the ultimate Samantha Brown night. But we have the sizzle reel from that episode, just a little teaser to see what everyone can check out this weekend. Because it airs mostly on Saturdays and Sundays, but it's different everywhere. We'll get to that in a second. But let's enjoy the first look of Samantha Brown's Places to Love, Northern Costa Rica.
I'm in one of the most biodiverse countries in the world, exploring the emerald heart of a proudly green country known for its abundance of tropical forests, spirited waters, as well as anteaters, parrots, crocodiles, and adorable frogs. But the true center of this country is its people who, fierce in their advocacy of enviable resources, extend a pure joy and passion to bring you into their colorful world and experience it through their eyes. Oh, and there will be sloths. I'm in northern Costa Rica.
Loved going back there. It had been my first time back to Costa Rica since I did a travel series called Passport to Latin America. I think it had been 18 years. And yeah. I mean, just that number shocks me. But it had been that long since I'd been to Costa Rica. And we'd always done the coasts. We had done both coasts, Pacific and the Gulf. And this time we decided to go in the middle. And in the northern parts and more of the upper in the mountain areas, and it was just stunning. And I'll do the post tomorrow, but I'll give you a heads up. We were there shooting in July, which is considered their off season. It's a really part of a shoulder season because of July, but it's a time to go where the crowds aren't, and prices are 30 to 50% off of what they are now. And it is the rainy season, or the green season, as they like to call it. And it did. It rained, but it would stop. And we had plenty of time to shoot. And I made a joke in the video that, listen, if a camera, TV crew with really expensive gear can be there in July shooting and get everything they need, anyone's going to be fine there. It would rain, but it's not cold.
Yeah.
It was so refreshing, and just a really great time to go. We were the hotels that we stayed at were almost empty. We'd always have the pool to ourselves, and it was just really a lovely time. So I know this year a big travel trend is to go to places where and when nobody else is, right? We're tired of the crowds. We really want to experience a place when it's not inundated by us. And so Costa Rica in July, I give it a big thumbs up. And so you'll see that this weekend. Hopefully tune in, because we did great things. Again, that was shot in July.
That's great. Jeff pointed out that Portland, is 3 hours different. I did the math that it actually aired at 5:30 Portland time, so which is 8:30 our time here.
Man, those drinks must be strong tonight.
Yeah,
You're
not
right,
strong
Jeff,
enough because
if Kevin
we're on
was
it.
making a mistake, but he wasn't.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
But speaking of watching, just to kind of put it out there that, with public television, every station in America has a different schedule about when they air the show and when
Keeps it fun.
Yeah. So I don't know where it's airing in Sacramento at any given time, or where it's airing in Cleveland or in Portland, Maine. However, you probably know your zip code. If you just go to samb.tv/watch, you can look up and see not only our new shows, but all the old shows, everything that's out there. So that's a really helpful tool to be able to find the show in your market. What's that one? That one?
Doris.
Hey, Doris.
A good friend of ours.
Hey, Doris. How's it going?
Hello, Doris. How are you? Love a cold martini.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. I'm going to fake drink now.
Our Delaware friends haven't shown up yet. That's interesting. What's that all about? Doris is here, but not the Delaware people. It is interesting, though, as far as Costa Rica, that it's not a super wide country. It's kind of more tall than wide, but the different districts of where you are, whether it's in the Pacific North versus the Caribbean side, the weather is totally different from region to region.
That's true. Yep.
Where it can be very dry in some places,
yep.
And when I was driving during my scout there, the guy said a really interesting thing that I would have loved to get in the show, which just didn't make any sense.
Colleen Casey's going to Costa Rica in July with the author Anne Lamott. Wow, that sounds great.
Who's that?
She's an amazing author.
Oh, okay. But yeah, they're saying that basically a drop of water that lands on the main highway, if it goes to the left, it ends up ultimately in the Pacific, and if it goes to the right, ultimately ends up in the Caribbean Sea.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
All right.
All right. So should we get going here?
Yeah.
All right. So we are back in Portland.
I'm in a city that absolutely sparks with creativity. An urban hub with an envious access to the great outdoors that combined has created a bastion of self-expression. It's a city that influences an entire nation on trends of food and beverages, craft and design, and always with a high quality and artisanal approach. It's a city that was forged by a pioneering spirit that carries through to this day. I'm in Portland, Oregon. I'm Samantha Brown, and I've traveled all over this world.
I've been to Portland, Oregon.
And I'm always looking to find the destinations.
Oh, sorry.
I've been to Portland many times. I think that might have been my, 10th time to Portland.
Maybe 5,
Yeah,
6
exactly.
times, maybe.
Yeah, it's just a great city. It's one of my favorites. We, of course, live in Brooklyn, and there's sort of there's a lot of similarities.
I call Brooklyn the Portland of the East Coast.
And one of our favorite shows is Portlandia. Have any of you ever watched that show, Portlandia? It was so funny in that the opening credits, it said so perfectly, Portland is where the young go to retire. And I always laughed at that because it was just so true. Just really, it feels like a really young city. It's a very creative city, and that's why we were there.
Yeah. It's but I tell you, it's about an hour from the coast, and there's a Cannon Beach. It's a gorgeous beach that you've seen in a million magazine shoots.
It has that mountain.
Yeah, that mountain right at the
that
beach.
loaf of a rock.
That was the first trip we took the kids to the West Coast, I think. When we did that.
Oh my gosh, that's
right. They
right.
were really little.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
Yeah.
Our kids have even been to Portland.
Yeah.
Because that's where we departed for our RV road trip.
Yep.
And
no, they've been there twice. Once was for the RV road trip, and once was for the speaking engagement.
For the speaking engagement, yeah. Well, we stayed in a really great neighborhood there. There was a little. We were off on the. I forget where we were.
Pearl District.
Pearl District, yeah, that was great. Yeah, so we've been many, many times with our family. A couple of times, my mom came with us.
That's right.
So yeah, it's just a really special city that we've returned to again and again. And so,
Allison's pointing out about
Haystack in Cannon Beach. Thank you.
Tillamook is in Oregon, and we had some Tillamook ice cream over Christmas at my parents' house, and it was really good.
And Tillamook cheese.
Yeah.
It's really good. Portlandia is fun.
Oh my goodness. Oh, it's divine. Portland is known as the City of Roses, mainly because, well, they can't get enough of the climate here. And there's no better place to see roses shine than at the International Rose Test Garden. And this is more than a garden. Things are happening here.
Absolutely. They're more than just a pretty face here. We are actually testing them because plants and roses are consumer goods.
And like all consumer goods, these go through trials. What are they being evaluated for? Bloom, formation, color, fragrance, disease, and insect resistance. But for a rose to get a perfect 10, there are even more factors to consider.
We're looking at the blooms, but another thing we look at is the foliage.
The foliage, okay, so
yes,
the greenery.
that greenery.
Okay.
And just look how shiny that is. Doesn't this nice shiny foliage create a great contrast to this beautiful color?
It really pops the red.
Exactly. So
okay, so you don't want a dull green.
Yes, if
or
you
one that's like matte.
I'd give this a 10. Yes.
Yes.
It's really great foliage. Another cool characteristic, these canes. Rose stems are called canes. They're nice and purple.
So you're just looking at everything from the stem to the leaf to the actual bloom.
Exactly. So we have over 10,000 individual plants and 625 different varieties.
Whoa.
And they do different things. We have ones that climb, we have ones in the garden, we have ones that, are in raised beds.
These are roses?
These are roses, I know. Isn't that amazing?
What decides what new roses come in for the year?
The best way to say it is all roses are provisional and auditioning for a permanent status in the rose garden. As they become less commercially available or their performance is lacking, we take it out. And then we get a new crop in.
This is competitive.
I know, absolutely. It's very, very less dramatic, but yes, there's a lot of competition here.
I mean, can I just stand here in awe of these two colors side by side? This beautiful purple, twilight zone, and then this sort of creamy pinky yellow. Oh my gosh, they're gorgeous.
Yeah, you just have a crescendo of color over here. Look at it. I mean, except for blue roses, we're not quite there yet. We have a gold medal award that the Rose Garden gives out. And if, let's say, Twilight Zone wins, it goes into the gold medal section and is permanently planted there.
So these roses know.
Yeah,
I gotta perform here.
Exactly.
I'm on the chopping block. I want to get to the garden up there.
Exactly.
There's even the rose that made Portland the City of Roses. Madame Caroline Testout. Good info to have for a trivia quiz.
Yeah, I love that garden, and understanding that there was a competition happening, and roses come in fashion and they go out of fashion, and they're not wanted anymore, and new ones come in. I've never thought of the rose or the flower industry in that way at all. So that was a great perspective that things were happening. It wasn't just a place where you would go like, oh, stop and smell the roses. Like you would understand the whole business of roses, which of course is big business.
And I think that's a great example of, I think, what makes our show, because as someone that scouts these episodes, and I saw a lot of things in Portland, some that didn't make the show, it was interesting, the fact that there's a big rose garden, and had it not been for that part,
it probably wouldn't have been.
They'd been like, okay, so there's a bunch of roses, and okay, it looks pretty, and that move on. But when they said that, no, it's a test center for roses, it's like, well, what does that mean? You ask a bunch of questions, then it's like, well, that's way more interesting visually than just seeing roses on TV.
Yeah, I agree.
And so that was an immediate yes, because there's a Japanese garden there that's really wonderful. There's a lot of, that's a huge park that's in, and there's a lot of interesting things. There was a zoo there. There was, there's lots of stuff there, but it was the fact that there was a way that we could learn something while we were there. Instead of just seeing roses, we're learning about roses. And I think I was really happy how that scene turned out, because that was what we wanted to be. We wanted to be this scene about understanding there's another level to something.
Yeah, and as David Dean says, thank heavens for drone shots. Because it really gives you, we used them a lot in this episode, because it just gives you a different perspective. And this is where those drone shots really come in handy of taking in the entire garden and understanding just how large and just impactful it is.
Yeah.
Portland may be the city of roses, but it's increasingly becoming a city of coffee. It especially embraces the concept of cafes offering coffee exclusively grown in a home country. Case in point, the Guatemala-based Cafe Zamora.
I've always heard of direct trade, fair trade coffee, but this is as direct as it gets. You own the farm in Guatemala.
Yeah. Hector is part of a pioneering concept in Portland where the coffee shop does more than trade directly with farmers. They're actually owned by farmers.
I'm working with a cooperative. We do everything from the very beginning to the very end, from planting the coffee, taking care of the coffee, processing the coffee, and then we bring the coffee here and we roast the coffee every week and distribute and sell coffee to people here in Portland, Oregon. My name is Hector Mejia Zamora. I'm the owner of Cafe Zamora. All our coffee here comes directly from my village in Guatemala.
To open up a coffee shop in Portland is no small feat. There's quite a few of you here, as you know.
Very saturated market here.
Yes, but the cost of your coffee is extremely reasonable.
Yeah, I think that's also the other reason why we have been able to engage and build our community here, because they know that I care about our people back home, but I care about them here too.
It is a phenomenal cup of coffee. This is so smooth and just beautiful.
Thank you. So in the cooperative, we are about 40 members. All of them are small farmers. We have in between 5 to 20 acres of land, so no one is really wealthy, and we all work together. So that's one of the things that I definitely like to highlight to people, that it's not about just being the farmer. It's actually being the part and a member of the community that is making meaningful changes, not for just one farmer, but an actual community. The cooperative that I'm part of was able to build a school, a clinic, their own mill, and we have now 2 mills, one wet and one dry for the processing, and something that was before exclusive for wealthier farmers now is available for small farmers that individually could not do it, but collectively are proven to be strong.
Nice audio touch there by our editor. Little squeal of a steam.
I mean, Hector is a gem. And he is that whole idea of there is no middleman, and he was the person who, and we had to cut it out. His whole dream of his father. I think it was a dream of his father, and he really wanted to continue that. His father never got to do that. And just being with him and understanding that he's there representing his entire village in Guatemala, making that connection. I think he drove taxis for a while to start making money in the United States. And I just feel like if you knew that was the way to support a coffee grower and cafe owner, why would you go anywhere else? Because he's just wonderful. His coffee is outstanding. You can go online right now, my website or his, Cafe Zamora, and order his coffee. And it's a part of the whole fourth wave of coffee. So the first wave, I believe, was coffee actually getting into a can that we could buy in a supermarket.
Really?
I think that's the first wave. So like Folgers Crystals, was the first wave of coffee. The second wave was, oh my gosh, now I'm forgetting. Maybe it was like coffee shops, and then like Starbucks becoming big. Third wave was now more local roasters doing their own thing. And the fourth wave is no middleman. The coffee, and then there's a few of those.
Yeah, I scouted 3 when I was there. There's a Brazilian one where it's all Brazilian coffee, and then the other one was Vietnamese.
Vietnamese as well. So that's the Portland is sort of at the forefront of so many culinary trends, and this is the next one. So I hope it takes off. That coffee farmers themselves in these small villages start to have a presence in the United States, so that money goes back directly to the people and to the farmers. Well, why not, right?
Yeah. And it's not surprising that started in Portland.
No. Yeah.
I'm Jasper Sen. I'm Lynn Tran, and we're the founders of the Little America Food Cart Pod.
What is really the definition of a pod?
Just a collection of different food carts together, but here it's intentionally BIPOC and LGBTQ owned.
We've run a restaurant for a little over 6 years now and been in the industry even longer. And some of these carts are brand new. Like they've never owned anything before. They've never run anything themselves. So we try to be available as we can to like just talk about any issues that come up and things they don't know. Like how to run a payroll, like how much money you should make at the end of the month. Are you saving for taxes? Like just basic business knowledge. We really try to be available to just help them out with.
The barriers to entry are really tough. You have to go through a lot of hoops in order to even start thinking about owning your own concept.
Oh. That means food's ready. All right.
My name's Andy with Hawker Station. We do Cantonese-style chicken and rice. I'm from LA. There's chicken and rice everywhere in LA. Once I moved here, I couldn't find it anywhere. So I brought it here to Portland.
So the way this dish works is you poach the chicken, and then the liquid, the broth that comes off of it, you cook the rice in the broth rather than with just plain water. So you get like a chicken-flavored rice.
Oh my gosh, that melts in your mouth.
Yeah, it's great.
Hi, my name is Michael. This is Bake on the Run, the only spot for Guyanese food west of New York City, North America, and the only spot that I'm aware of on the West Coast from Chile to Alaska. And today we're going to serve you potato chicken curry, one of Guyana's 3 national dishes.
So yeah, Guyana, very small country, tons of like Indian spices, a lot of those flavors in there.
And it's his mom back there cooking every single dish.
Me and my mom, Chef Phoebe, is the most important part of the operation. She can always have another son, I can't have another mother.
Hi, I'm Cristo.
I'm Mike.
And we're co-owners of Makulit. Makulit is a Tagalog term used for children that are being a little stubborn, a little too extra.
And today we're cooking our Digunso. That is our take on a classic burger.
Both those guys love fast food. They are both Filipino, but they both kind of grew up in the States. And it's interesting to see how being raised in America changes your concept of your traditional food.
They nailed the sauce.
It's not only the food, it's the story, it's the background, but also the intention and like kind of, yeah, what are they trying to do in Portland?
Have you been surprised by the people who are here and who are enjoying this and the response you've gotten in a good way?
Yeah, we opened up just a few months ago, and I think that everybody is having record-breaking weeks. They're busy every day, and this is a really good practice for them to kind of try to figure out what they want to do for the future and how to make this work for them.
I'm really proud of this scene because when we went there, all the pods were open. And so then the challenge becomes, I hate being like, oh, we're only going to do them. And so the ones that were open, I went up to and we talked a little to the owner. And because the people you see talking to the camera are the owners and the cooks and everything of the food. And so for me, I was like, well, then how do we do this so it's has a dynamic flow? And then I realized, okay, we don't want to see me go up to every single window because then it gets a little, it just gets a little tiring. It gets predictable. But if like the camera is showing you the people and they're talking directly, then you feel like, you're meeting them. And then, of course, working with David, I'm like, this is what I'm thinking, and we shot it this way. Can it happen? And I think it came together really well. Yeah. So we were able to showcase a lot more people than usually we have time for 1 or 2, but we really try to get in as many people as possible. And to this day, I still laugh at makalat means when, a child's being a little extra. I loved how his inflection was perfect, too. When a child's being a little extra.
I had to look that up. What does the hipster term extra mean? It's difficult.
Makalat.
Difficult.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But that's the term.
Oh, right.
Of the pod, that makalat. It's a Filipino. But it was a real, and the food, oh my gosh. So we couldn't say it on camera. They were recreating their version of a Big Mac. So it was the special sauce in a Big Mac, and oh my gosh, it was just perfect. It was really good.
little behind the scenes of this one is that I scouted this episode, and this was actually a last minute replacement of a scene that was canceled on us.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
And it's because I'm sure someone's going to ask at some point. Someone already made a comment about it. It's the Powell's bookstore. We were going to do an interview there, and then the daughter of the owner was sick or something, and she just had canceled on us, and we had felt like this show could use more food.
Yeah.
And I had heard about this. It was closed the day I was going to go there, and I couldn't make it. And so we kind of at the last minute put that together.
Yeah, and they're not food trucks, which is different. A food, because I don't know if we kept it. A food truck is they can move away, right? You can go wherever you want. Those are they call them pods. Is that what it's called, pods? Because there's no they're like almost like little trailers, that kind of thing. But they're not. It's not a food truck center. It's a pod, and they have a lot of these throughout Portland as well.
Jeff has a very important question. I think we're all wondering to know.
Do you walk away from a tasting session like this and feel like you're still full tomorrow at breakfast? Heck yeah. Oh yeah. So like after I do that, I won't have dinner. Maybe I'll get something light, have a few, but just, I am full for the rest of the day because I'm definitely going to be eating everything I can. That's for sure.
Being in Portland, one of its greatest assets is just its proximity to the great outdoors. Yes. This is 20 minutes from the city, but that really doesn't mean it's that accessible, right? And so this organization really seeks to change that.
Yeah, we try to get people that have any kind of barrier to accessing the outdoors outside. I'm Emma Flynn, and I'm a guide with Adventures Without Limits. Adventures Without Limits is an inclusive and adaptive outdoor outfitter, and our goal is to get everyone outside regardless of ability level, socioeconomic status, or any other barriers that might cause them to not be able to go outside.
The organization leads outdoor adventures year-round on land, water, and snow.
We do a lot of whitewater rafting, which is awesome. And then we do a lot of camping trips in the summer, and then in the winters we actually do cross-country skiing and snowshoeing as well. Part of what we like to do is set people up so that if they were to go and kayak somewhere else and not just with us, that they would know what they need to do to keep themselves in the boat, what they need to do to keep themselves safe, things like that, yes.
So what are some of the things you can do to a kayak to make it more adaptive?
We have things called outriggers that are like a mini kayak, pretty much, that can extend on the outside of the back of a kayak, and it will provide a lot of stability. And then we have a lot of different seat pieces we can put together to provide different levels of support for people. We work with students from low-income schools. We work with different affinity groups across Portland that serve different types of populations. We work a lot with individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, as well as individuals with physical disabilities.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the whole spectrum of the human experience.
Anyone who wants to go outside, we want to get you there, yeah. I've been involved with the inclusive and adaptive outdoors world for a really long time. I've done it since I was in 7th grade, so that's probably about 13 years now, if not longer. Longer. And I've always been really into the outdoors. I grew up with a family that had a lot of access to the outdoors, so we've done rafting my whole life, and I decided to join my two passions together by joining Adventures Without Limits and the team.
What do you enjoy most about what you get to do?
I think for me, it's the connections that I get to have with people. I really enjoy building rapport and getting to see, how excited someone gets when it's their first time doing something. And so when people have that realization of oh, I can do this, and I already kind of know, at least I've seen what it looks like, or I've done something similar in my everyday life, then it's a really cool experience to be the guide who gets to walk alongside someone in that moment.
Yeah, another great sort of our approach to our show. We rarely do kayaking scenes, right? We know that they're just interesting, but obviously we want to show the outdoors. But you watching me hike is not good television. You watching me kayak is not good television, even though that's something that's really important in Portland, just their access to outdoors. So when we found Without Limits, that's exactly what we want to do. We not only do we want to have a different storyline, but also open up the travel experience to the whole human experience, and just the challenges that people have getting to the outdoors. The Without Limits, they do amazing things. Not only are they with, like they said, development, mentally, physical, people with physical challenges, but also economic challenges. They reach out to all the inner city schools and they make sure that the school kids get access and they pay for it. So if you donate to them, that money is going to make sure that everybody who would like to get into a kayak or, go camping has the ability and the access and the financial means to it. And we all know that even things that should not be expensive is expensive for a lot of people, or just not physically possible. So it's a great community of just outdoors people.
Yeah. And I think an hour radius from Portland has so much natural beauty. It's crazy. The Columbia River Gorge blows your mind.
True. Yeah.
The waterfalls there, and then you get to the obviously the coast. When you get to the ocean, is beautiful. The Mount Hood, which is right there. It's just amazing how much is right near Portland and the outdoors space. And it was. We knew we wanted to do that scene. It was more of a question of where, because the original place we wanted to do it wouldn't let us do it there. It was a lake and they were being annoying, so we ended up changing to that river, which was perfect. But
and I will say, I know some like we have GoPros on the kayaks. Not only do we have a GoPro on all the kayaks, but we also had our 2 cameramen in kayaks, and that was one of the most difficult scenes to shoot. I don't know if we told you that. It was so hard. It was to corral everyone because we were quite a big group and they wanted to show us, but then I would see like our cameraman and someone would be in the back and he'd be like, go this way. No. And then of course there wasn't too much of a current, but then it would go the other way. And now the cameraman was facing this way, but we're here. And so you'll see a bunch of the shots where we're all just kind of faking where and it's just like, and I'm not even touching the water. I'm like, because I'm seeing that they finally have the shot that they need, because they had to then kayak backwards as we kayak forwards. And I think we're just like, so then what's happening? And so a lot of times I always have to pay attention to that. But there were GoPros, but our cameramen were also in the kayaks, and that was difficult.
Inside joke, but let's not talk about kayaks anymore with David on the.
That is just mean.
That's not.
No.
And Chad, our sound guy, Chad.
Hey, and Chad Finley was in a kayak too.
Chad was in a kayak too.
Did you ever have to use your boom, Chad? Did you use that as a paddle at any point?
A rudder.
Oh
he's
man.
He's got it behind him, just kind of steering the kayak.
Do you remember that, Chad? So did each one of you have your own kayak with someone helping you paddle? Is that how it went? Or was like Sylvia, our director, was she your paddler in that kayak? So we always have to coordinate these things, and thank God for Sylvia, who is our amazing director, because things have to be directed. And there was a lot of us there. Davidine wailing. Too soon. Craig Larson was saying, wouldn't instead of a drive-in, like a kayak would be really cool, unless they were playing Jaws. I don't think I would want to be in a kayak while they were playing Jaws.
And then you hire a diver to just come in and grab people.
Just rock the boats a little. Yeah. But absolutely. That's a great idea.
That's fun. And honestly, if that's going to happen anywhere, it's going to happen in Portland.
Because they have the space.
The leather craft began about 1933 with my great-grandfather, and it didn't really begin with leather, it began with baseball. He was very passionate about baseball. His biggest goal was to own his own baseball team and sponsor it, and he was able to do that through leather work. So he started working and making the leather mitts, the guards, and all of the leather gear that they needed, all the way down to the shoes, and then quickly started selling it all the way until he was able to own his own team. My name is Levi Martinez. I am a production crafter here at Aurochs Leather as part of our family business.
Levi is 4th generation. His dad, Jose, is 3rd and is credited with mixing functional leather goods with a lot of style.
When I was growing up, my dad taught me how to do the leather work, and I think at first I helped out with a lot of the sales portion of it, but then as I grew older and I could handle the tools, I started working in the production floor and helping them out too.
people were actually seeking like things that were handmade, that were made to last, and we felt that we very much fit that description because of one, the leather material that we were using. It's very durable, and also like the way that we kind of construct and design things.
Are all those items that I see in your beautiful store made right here?
That's right, yeah.
Nothing is made anywhere else?
No,
that's incredible.
We hand make all of our items here in Portland.
So when you come up with new products, is it still your dad
Yeah.
who does that? Jose, you're still the designer?
Yeah.
All right. I've noticed around town that these aprons are everywhere. How does this begin?
We come to find out that all the trades really needed a nice heavy-duty apron because they're constantly, year after year, they're having to buy another one and another one. So our aprons were made the old school way, which my great-grandfather made it, grandfather made, and they were made to like be used for the rest of your life, not just 1 year and then you toss it and get it.
And then it's in a landfill somewhere.
Exactly.
And they're your aprons.
Yeah.
People love you.
Yeah.
And I've seen chefs wear them. I was just at Steelport, which makes knives, and they wear them.
That's a great shot.
Yeah. Also a great segue. That is David Dean's Magic Editing. And I think Craig Larson also commented on that, how seamless the editing is. And that's David Dean. That's our editor. When we do this show, we have sort of an idea with the script of of how things could go. And knowing that, Sylvia and I our director will also think, okay, that would be a great, we call it a seamless transition. So you don't have me saying a voiceover. After Oxo Leather, I went to, Steelport Knives. We like to kind of just all of a sudden I'm there, but we always need that in. What is going to be that in? But then if we can't figure it out, David always does. But Oxo Leather, I mean, what an origin story.
Yeah.
I mean, is that from it?
I got a little Oxo Leather coaster.
Coaster for your very super strong gin.
You've been putting your cocktail on.
I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah.
That's what it's for.
But what an origin story that the great-grandfather, Levi's great-grandfather, really got into leather goods because he just wanted to have a baseball team, and so he learned how to sew everything from shoes to the mitts to the guards. I mean, I love that. That was
I didn't know baseball was a thing in Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Really cool.
Not sure, but yeah, lovely people, great multi-generational business. We love to feature them. That type of business. Yeah.
There are 130 something steps to our process, but these are the major life cycles of a Steelport knife.
Eitan Zayas is co-founder and bladesmith of Steelport Knife Company, where each one of their knives is created by hand.
So you actually take this piece like this.
So we take that piece
and shape it into that.
Correct. This is the best way to construct a knife. It is one solid piece. There's no welds, no soldering, no pins. So we get from this to that.
Wow.
And then we do a differential heat treatment.
And that's what you can see right now on the knife?
You can see the two different tones on there.
Yes.
Right? You need a hard steel for the edge, but we left the spine soft. So the overall blade is more durable, and then the actual performance part of it is going to be hard. So this you only find in custom knives because it's a one-at-a-time process.
So it's one person taking one knife and heat treating it.
One at a time.
One at a time.
Correct. Wow. That we can get a knife that's very hard, so it holds an edge, but it's also tough and it's very sharpenable. Then we grind it.
I'm game. Who doesn't have knives to grind?
And let's have a look. Yeah, pick it up. See?
That's nice.
That looks great.
After grinding comes polishing, and another step that feels very Portland. They force a coffee patina using spent grounds from a local roaster.
And that's also just to make it more user-friendly, and you can see exactly what happened to the knife. So you can see our heat treat, you can see some steel banding. Our goal is to make a heirloom-style knife that will last you for, a few generations. So that is what we're trying to achieve here.
Lovely.
And as with...
Yeah.
I love knives, and wherever we travel, if they are known for their knives, we will get knives. I think we have 10 cleavers from China. We have a knife guy in Tokyo, Japan.
I don't know where he is now because he was right outside of the fish market.
Oh, right, and
that's closed now, so I don't know. I'm sure he's still around. I just don't know where.
And so we were really excited about this because I love a good knife. And I have a bread knife, which I'm very excited about. And I mean, the stalest sourdough, it just slices it like it's a tomato. I mean, it's just...
I've never in my life worried about cutting myself with a bread knife.
Yeah.
I worry about that knife.
it's a serious.
It's so sharp, and it's just like, usually a bread knife, the serration is what cut. I mean, that thing's sharp.
What was really nice is Steelport also does, if you're interested in, like a 4-hour knife sharpening class. And I always wanted to know how to sharpen knives, and we did it for the show. We had to cut it for time, but he teaches you how to bring it, and it's I just find it so difficult. It's just like, this is where but for us, we always try to find a good knife grinder. And that's a knife sharpener, sorry. And it's really hard. It's really hard to find a great knife sharpener. It is an art. And I mean, I get it. My lesson was all of maybe 20 minutes, but it's a very slight, the way he was showing, like, wow, I know I'm just gonna like absolutely tear apart this knife.
Well, that place you featured in the Travel Channel days in Japan, I think part of their shtick was that it was like a glorified stall that had a million knives for sale there, but in the back there was just people nonstop sharpening. Grinding, and it was just this like 2 or 3 people just constantly working, and so you walk by and you're just like, it draws your eye, like, what are those guys doing? And then you realize, like, oh, those knives have been sharpened by those people, and then you feel the knife and it's like, wow, that's but we got knives in China and Hong Kong. I got that really nice knife we have upstate is from Paris. It's like a boning knife.
No, we've got a lot. We've got great knives, definitely.
Yeah. And that's a tip I always like to say when people say, well, what are you going to buy when you go somewhere? Buy kitchen stuff. You use it.
Yeah.
You think about it all the time.
Yeah.
We still have, from the last time I was in Paris 10 years ago, 15 years ago, wooden spoons.
Yeah.
It's like the fancy kitchen store of Paris. And it has their name on the handle, and it's something you always look at and remember that trip.
Allison Wonder, I swear this isn't the first time I have seen Sam showcase knives. It's true. I love knives. Yeah. It's like, what do we got to do? And yes, Jeff, I did buy that bread knife that I worked on the episode. But it has a beautiful serrated edge, and you should never sharpen a serrated edge. It is best to send it back to the manufacturer. He said, like, in 2 or 3 years, or when it feels a little dull, just send it back and we'll sharpen it and we'll send it back to you, because you can absolutely destroy it. He did say that you could make a cheap knife better with a good sharpen.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But that's probably not.
I thought he said that they were one of the only places in the country that can sharpen serrated knives.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because
they make them there. They can put them on the same machine that creates the serration in the first place to resharpen them. That's not something that you usually can do.
Any knife, heirloom or not, knowing how to take care of it is its first step towards sustainability. And Steelport offers knife sharpening classes just that.
Can you make a cheaper knife better by a good
sharpener? Foreshadowing.
Nothing is gonna treat your edge better than actual stone sharpening.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the best way, the stone. It's not that thing that you draw your knife through. You've
Absolutely not. It's not just bad for a quality knife, it's bad for any knife. And we'll start at the tip. And right now we're just gonna do full strokes. Yep, and then back.
And just this angle here, from like point A to point B.
Yep. So once you're more comfortable with that, then we're gonna do kind of shorter strokes, and maybe put like maybe 2 or 3 fingers right above the edge there.
Okay.
And then you're gonna do kind of a scrubbing motion, and then the longer the strokes, the more efficient you are.
Okay. I just never realized that was the steel coming off. I thought it was the stone giving that.
These intensive classes typically last 4 hours, so I'm looking forward to something else that'll take the edge off.
My specialty is research and development. I really like to put things together, and I also like to figure out the chemical structure behind why things work.
Molly Troop is master distiller and partner at Freeland Spirits, one of the few women-owned and operated distilleries in the world.
Are these ingredients that you can find in Oregon?
Yes, so a lot of these are found in Oregon. Some of them are not, but we try to use as fresh ingredients as we can.
So what do you do to make sure that freshness is in that bottle?
We use a cold distillation apparatus. You can use really fresh ingredients, capture them without translation. So cucumber, instead of running it through Helvich, which is steam, things get really hot.
Yeah.
And it kind of tastes like cooked cucumber. You can keep the temperature low, and it tastes like a cucumber you want to bite into. Now let's just do the cherry blossom. This is this wonderful project that we coordinated with the Portland Japanese Gardens.
Are you using real cherry blossoms here? Oh
Yes.
my goodness.
They were very gracious, and they actually put down tarps themselves, allowed us to come and get those cherry blossoms every morning, and then we immediately put them on alcohol.
Okay.
We do that distillation basically the next day, and we get this flavor that comes across as very floral with a hint of almond.
Oh, it's beautiful.
The trick with anything that's floral is that it's very delicate, and it has an interesting, still a translatable flavor.
Freeland Spirits is making a name for its special releases, and the next one is a walk in the woods, literally.
So this is called Forest Gin. We've always wanted to work with like some forage ingredients. We've always really loved forest, and we figured why not turn our little business box into a foraging opportunity. And Forest Gin is kind of the result of those conversations where we wanted to put as many ingredients that we could find that come from Forest Park.
Forest Park is the largest urban park in the United States.
That's right. So we have Doug fir, we use some salal berries as well, and then chanterelle mushrooms. And all of them kind of come together to make something that is supposed to feel like a forest walk. And of course, it's like so new, it hasn't even really been put into a bottle.
Wow. What a smell. That is beautiful. It's the forest, and then it disappears. It's just so warming.
Just like a whisper.
Yes, that's really lovely.
I think that a lot of like humanity would be better if we took a forest walk every day, right? It's something that just brings you kind of to a place of peace. And that's really what we wanted to like bring people to with this.
Cheers. Yeah.
Cheers.
I tell you, when I do those tastings, we always put them at the end of the day because my director Sylvia totally knows that Sam gets buzzed off of one sip, and I can't professionally.
Yeah.
But I don't like, I really want to taste it, and I take little baby sips. The cherry blossom gin was so exquisite. It was so lovely. I don't consider myself a gin drinker, right? It's a high alcohol spirit, so I kind of stay away from it. But it was just so delicate. And then that Forest Park, it must be out now. We should get some of that. Oh, it was just effervescent. It just disappeared, but you got that sense. And I had never even heard of cold distilling. So that really enabled them to create flavors that you don't see other gin makers have because of that cold distilling process, which I thought was fascinating.
That's where the kind of mix between perfume making and liquor making because that's a process they use to make stuff for perfumes.
All right, okay.
No, I could have spent all day there.
I know you could.
And it was great. I had a great time chatting with the owner.
Yep.
The thing I'd say, though, that I had a nice chat with my mom's friend that's going to Louisville, and I love Louisville. I love bourbon. If you are interested in that, you should go. Be clear on that. But the thing that's annoying about Louisville, or the bourbon distillery world, is that there's such demand for that now that you can't walk into Buffalo Trace and just leave with a bottle of Blanton's. It doesn't work that way. They have such a small allocation that if you're very lucky, you might get something that's collectible or something interesting at the distillery, but that's hard to do now. But at that distillery, they had all kinds of interesting, quick runs. They weren't. You might not be able to get that Forest Gin, 9 months out of the year, but if you're there and they have it, you can buy it and take it home. It's a lot more fun that way. You're there, you visit, you like something, you can take it.
And you can't do that in bourbon country
because that
it's all spoken for, right?
Yeah, the gin I got from them is their kind of normal standard gin they always make, which is great. But those special bottlings, going to the distillery, it adds a layer that you can't get those things anywhere else. That Sakura liquor that you tasted, they made one batch and sold it.
Yep.
And they collected them at the Japanese garden. That's where they got all the cherry blossoms from.
30 minutes outside of Portland is Oregon City, which marks the terminus of the Oregon Trail, a 2,000-mile route that brought settlers to the West Coast and firmly established a pioneering identity that still thrives today.
How many people use the Oregon Trail to move out west?
It's probably between 50 and 70,000.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, tens of thousands.
John Jarvie has been a guide at the end of the Oregon Trail Interpretive Center for 15 years.
It's a unique and important story in American history for visitors to see the hardships that our predecessors had to go through to make their way out here to the West Coast.
What did these pioneers have along the way to resupply their efforts?
From the Missouri River to here, the Willamette and Columbia rivers, there's no towns. And so when you head out on the journey, you have to leave with the expectation that you're bringing what you need.
These pioneers who sold their homes, businesses, and possessions now had to survive with whatever supplies could fit in a 6 by 12-foot prairie schooner. And the center gives you a chance to see what that meant.
This is my suitcase, and what goes in the suitcase has got to keep me alive for the next 5 to 6 months as I traverse through terrain I've never been through, right? Definitely some oats. Definitely rice. Oh no, lard. Definitely need onions. Oh, these are gonna make me cry. Chicken feed. When I take chickens? Okay. I'm a pioneer. I will never complain about a cross-country flight again. So knowing what you know, what would you do? What would you put in your wagon so you could survive?
I wouldn't have gone, number one. I would have waited till 1869, you have the transcontinental rail line.
You would have taken the train.
Absolutely. We're making an effort to try to tell different stories, not just the stories of the white Anglo-Saxon Protestants that came out. I meet people all the time that have moved out to the Northwest for reasons that have nothing to do with their work. They've decided on their own that they want a certain lifestyle that they associate with the Pacific Northwest, the desire to get a better lifestyle that's not so dissimilar from the motivations for a lot of those Oregon Trail pioneers.
Portland's a great place to live and visit because it's a place where you can just be your true self and everybody will accept you for it.
It's proximity to the mountains, to the coast, skiing, to hiking, a great food scene, very open and welcoming with everybody.
Everyone should know when they come to Portland that they should not just go to the malls and visit the same places that they could visit at home. There's so much more richer culture here.
There are rivers and lakes and forests and mountains all around us, and there's so much opportunity to do so many fun things in all of those areas.
People here are really friendly and really welcoming. That's what makes so unique and special this place, that no matter where you're from, as soon as you get to talk to someone, you will feel like if you were their friend since childhood.
When a destination is a pioneer of self-expression, when the great outdoors is accessible to all, when a place shows you how human creativity has no limits, that is when we share a love of travel. And that's why Portland, Oregon is a place to love.
All right, that was really nice to see you again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, guys. What kind of questions do we have? I know you usually keep a queue, Kev.
Yeah. It's interesting that Bill said he's driven most of it, the Portland Trail, the Oregon Trail.
Wow.
That I didn't know that was a thing. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Anyone else driven that? So, Bill, is that
Is that like one route? Like obviously not a Route 66 thing.
Or were you like back roading through like the wilderness?
But like horse driving? Is that what you mean? Like were you driving cattle? Is that what you're doing over the Oregon Trail? I just loved his answer when I was like, would you have done it? I was like, absolutely not. Because usually those guides, they're like so intense, right? And they would have done it. They wish they were a part of that time. And he was just like, no, I want to wait for the train. And I just love the honesty of that answer.
Dan asked a question, if he needs a car to get around. I'd say it just depends on how much Portland versus out of Portland you want to see. Certainly in Portland, there's Ubers and there's trams and buses.
I like
and
taking
that
the
kind of
tram.
stuff.
It's really lovely. The tram's really easy to kind of jump on.
Because the thing about Portland that's interesting is that, and our friends from Portland weighed in on this. I feel like most cities, the river is a boundary. Portland, it's not. Like you're on one side of the river, then you're on the other. Like, so if you go to New York, like, you're probably going to be in Manhattan. Maybe you'll cross over to Brooklyn, maybe, but I don't know. So, getting around, certainly Ubers and, public transport's fine. But if you want to go out, I mean, there's buses that'll take you out to the waterfalls. I'm blanking on the name of the waterfall. Someone will answer it. It doesn't roll off the tongue. It's kind of a.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
But I think there's like tour buses that go out there every day. If you wanted to see that, and it is worth seeing.
One of our favorite places is. Oh no! It's a little. I've been drinking.
Let me just show. She's had that much.
Is this your second one, or is that your first one? Oh, that's the second one.
But but I mean, if you want to go out to the coast or you want to go, to Mount Hood, obviously you'll need a car for that, probably. Some of the questions, Dan did a favor for us. If anyone wants to buy the Cafe Zamora coffee, it's cafezamorapdx.com. Colleen and someone else, I just happened to save this one. That's the name of the store.
That's right.
That I got that wooden spoon from. And the knife.
Is that Delaurent?
Delaurent. It's a great. New York used to have a store like that called the Broadway Panhandler, and it closed, unfortunately. So there's not really a great kitchens, place now, unfortunately.
I thought you went to one recently.
Yeah, that place was. It's more of a chef place. Where this is more of a retail. Should I?
Sure.
Okay, so I said I wouldn't say what happened with David Dean in the kayak, but Samantha's sister happens to be watching, and she was there.
She was on the cruise as well. We all went kayaking that day. I was there with your editor, David, while kayaking the fjords of Norway.
Very brave.
And he was very brave.
And I was somewhat... Actually, myself and my son were in a kayak, and we were somewhat liable to what happened. But David had an accident, and he got to...
He went in the drink.
He got to really enjoy the fjord in a way that we did not.
If we're drinking the Navy gin, he went in the drink.
Yeah.
And, he went in, and it was cold.
Yeah, and he was a great sport about
it. And we were just setting out, and that man, David Dean, kayaked the rest of the way. It was tough. Kayaking. Yeah. When you do the fjord, they really don't tell you how tough it is.
It was a long
It was like 6 hours. I just felt like we were kayaking for a long, and you are keeping up, and the guides are, they're Norwegians. They think, and then we kayaked to this phenomenal spot where we enjoyed lunch, and it was cold, and David wet, did the entire thing. They said, do you want to go back? And nope. He said, no, I'm going to keep going. And the whole crowd was on David's side. It was amazing. And it was not an easy.
Yeah, total champion sport. I'd say that all of us agreed that might have been the most beautiful day in our lives.
God, yeah.
It was a nice sunny day in the fjords of Norway. Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Some great questions here. Wow, Stacy Hawkins, do the Accessible Outdoors folks do hikes? I think they do all kinds of things.
They said they did everything. I'm not sure she listed the things that they did. They do whitewater rafting. They do. I thought that she said they did cross country skiing and snowshoeing. So it would make sense that they would do hikes as well.
Oh, David has a response. He was being towed by a guide, but still had to row like mad. And the reason was he had to hurry because the guide had lunch with him.
Oh, that's right. He was with the guide who had the lunch.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, no. 30 people all hungry because they just kayaked for 3 hours straight.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Multnomah Falls.
Multnomah Falls.
Thank you,
That's right.
Coletta.
Yes, yeah.
And Colleen and a few other people.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there are buses that take you out there. You see the gorge, you see the falls. I mean, it's amazing.
Ford River? Is that where our little place was that we love? Ford? Does that make sense? There's a little town.
Well, it was where the RV was?
Yeah, when we did the RV trip, and they had pizza and beer,
Hood
and
River.
they had
It was
what is
Hood
it?
River.
Hood River.
Yeah.
What's that? Oh, okay, that was the name of the town
Yeah,
too.
'cause
Okay,
it's
yeah, really
the
nice.
town of Hood
We
River.
loved it.
Yeah.
Just magical.
Lots of questions here. Yeah, the whole gorge and Hood River area. You know, we did a whole episode around there. I'd love to spend more time there.
Me
It was
too.
every day was just gorgeous. Yeah.
I actually, it's the first time, I don't know if you saw that episode, the RV road trip, when we were with our kids, and it was pretty stressful. We were with the whole crew and our kids in an RV. No pressure. And we're, New York City people. So.
Oh, were you driving the RV?
No, I thought you were amazing. I couldn't believe it. But it was the first time we've ever camped out and by Hood River. It was just phenomenal. I was like, wow. I wish I had parents who brought me up camping, because it's hard when you're like the first generation to do something like that, because there's so many mistakes that you make. It's always nice when you had a few generations of people taking you RVing and camping, but yeah, I would love to do more of it.
We have people from Portland here. The question about what time of year is the best time to be there. I mean, the Pacific Northwest is not known for its weather. It's usually rainy, and that's kind of typical. I'd say though, certainly in late summer it clears up and it's nice. So I mean, I think that's
Well, we have is Chad from Seattle is still around? I mean, they have similar weather, correct?
Yeah.
What's the best time?
Yeah.
When were we shooting there? We were there early spring. So it was June, early June.
Nice days there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that would have been May. Actually, I think about it.
It was a little chilly.
Yeah, but we filmed there for the RV thing. That was September.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we've always had really nice weather.
Just to state again, one of the most famous independent bookstores in the world. I think they're the largest one too. They have some sort of thing they're famous for.
Okay.
Powell Books.
Yeah,
if you go to Portland, you have to go there. And again, we had a whole interview lined up, the whole thing, and then
it fell through.
He was sick. She was sick, and we found something else that was also great. But
one thing I loved about Powell Books is that they have a huge used books section, especially for kids' books.
That might be it. They're the largest used bookstore.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that's
okay.
what it is. Yeah.
And it's so nice because when you have kids, there's all these books like that. There's like 40 of them in the collection, and they're $5 or $7 each. And after a while, that really starts to add up. And to have a used book for $1, I just thought, oh my gosh, why don't we have this? It would make things so much easier. But it's valuable real estate, right? So you don't sell the cheapest thing, and that's why that's such a special bookstore, because they really do make getting books, buying books more affordable.
Some people in the Maryland area have weighted in. Mark Persson, who was always on the cutting edge, is a little bitter, I think, because he was always the one that got to see the episode first, like before we even thought it was airing. And he's behind the times now because our friends in Portland already saw it.
Mark, we're going to make a call.
Yeah.
We're going to make a call for you, and we're going to change that, because that is not right.
Columbia had one thing, and now they don't have it. And our friend Bill, who lives in the D.C. area, is saying in D.C. it's airing twice tomorrow and on Saturday.
Nice. Thanks, Bill, for knowing that. All right. He knows his schedule. He knows probably where to go. Where should they go if they want to find out where places to love?
Well, actually, since you asked.
Yes. Playing.
samb.tv/watch.
Exactly.
You'll be able to punch your zip code in and find out exactly the time.
And again, that's because we air on PBS stations across the United States, and each local PBS station has their own scheduling. And so to find that out, that's all you have to do. But yeah, it starts to roll out this today.
Today, yeah. I can't believe I didn't hit this one earlier. MT Rider 91 over on YouTube. Huge Samantha Brown fan. That's great.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Movie Beth happened to visit Portland to see the Goonies sites.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Kindergarten Cop.
And that Goonies, I think, turns 25?
40?
40?
Yeah, 40,
no,
right?
40? It's a big anniversary year this
I don't
year.
know.
Yeah. Our kids still haven't seen it. We watched it, this was probably a few years ago. It's like, oh, we got to watch Goonies. You're going to love Goonies. And because of the real gun, they were like, please turn this off. They didn't like children being chased by an adult with a gun. I'm like, oh, I get it. But they'd seen all the Harry Potter movies.
A wand, you're totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, a wand, you're fine.
I mean, like, the Harry Potter films scared the crap out of me. I was like, how are you watching this? It's so scary. Our kids haven't seen Goonies yet.
Switching to Europe, Diana Beal said, thanks for your travel inspiration over the years. All of your Passport Europe shows inspired me to travel to Europe.
I thought once all I could afford. I thought once was all I could afford, but you're... I think 5 times in 5 years.
Wow, that's great.
All right. Thanks, Diana. I appreciate that.
And then Joanna is... And this is a bit of foreshadowing for a couple episodes coming up, new episodes.
Oh.
Road trip list. Love visiting little German towns. And the nice thing about driving in Germany is that, they drive
you get there faster.
They drive a little faster, but it's way more organized.
Yeah.
And it's on our side of the road, which driving in in Ireland and in England is obviously a big difference there. But I like driving in Germany.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I remember once I was on the Autobahn and I was in, this is not a lie, I was in a smart car, which is like a roller skate, right? And I was driving and we were shooting. And so I was driving and all of a sudden a Porsche went by us at like the speed of sound. and literally we're like, it just went, boom! It's like, and we just shook for like 3 seconds. And it was like, all right, we're going to get off this because it was crazy. You really do. Yeah, stay in the slow lane. And they truly believe. And my dad used to race cars when I was growing up. And so he taught us how to drive right. And his biggest pet peeve is when people drove in the passing lane. And so you do not drive in the passing lane in Germany. You know, if you're going to be slow, you're going to stay in the right lane. And so
because you might be going 100 miles an hour,
and you're still going too slow.
You need to be in the slow lane because someone's going to go 150 past you.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that was crazy.
Multnomah was the name I think we mentioned, but just to our RV episode we did in our first season. We were going to stop there in that show, but there was fires going on, and Multnomah was. I think there's a lodge there.
Yeah.
They had surrounded it with fire people just to keep the fire away from burning that place down. It was crazy.
Yeah, you can see it in our episode when we were doing like the antique cars outside. The air was the sky was gray. Yeah, it was scary. It was a scary time for them.
Jeff asked where we spent Christmas and New Year's Eve. Well, we spent Christmas in Delaware. Classic. I mean, it's that classic
go to
film.
Christmas? Exactly.
I mean, everyone knows that stereotypical Christmas. And then New Year's Eve, we were upstate.
Yeah, upstate New York.
At our place in Dutchess County.
Yep. Again, we're really low key. I know there is something so freeing about just getting in your car. Not even caring about what you're packing because we have a minivan, we've got plenty of room, as opposed to like getting on a plane and knowing there's going to be some stress involved. So, whenever we can drive, it's just bliss.
And David said it better than me. Speaking of small German towns, wait till you see season 8. We did 2 episodes in Germany, and they're kind of mid to small towns. It's going to be fun.
A few unknowns, that's for sure.
I think there were some questions about the site. It's not samb.com, it's samb.tv. Just be clear on that for the for this guy.
Mark says, I'm no longer living in the future. It's true. You're with the rest of us in the moment.
40 years, Goonies.
40 years. Right. Yeah.
40 years.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I'm babysitting, except I'm not getting paid. Remember that line?
I don't remember anything about that movie.
Martha Plimpton. Oh, such a good movie. Such a good movie.
Oh, Colleen was in New York.
What?
That's right, because she had asked for advice. That was so long ago now. Jeez.
Oh, wow. By Elizabeth. Oh, but also recommend Paris and Normandy D-Day beaches, two of my niece's favorite places. Oh, yeah, absolutely. You were in New York City. It rained a bit, didn't it? When we watched, when they were in Times Square.
Yeah.
I've only done Times Square once, and it was when I did not live in New York City. My parents took us to see the ball drop, and it was awesome. It was so much fun.
I did not know this. Your sister's waiting in with
Fun fact about Dover, New Hampshire, last week's live podcast is the birthplace of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. No, it's not. What?
I thought they lived in New York.
Fun fact about Dover, the
Maybe the
birthplace
artist?
of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
You need to back that up, Kate, with some sort of facts.
Exactly.
You can't just throw those kind of bombshells at us. I mean, I've had 2 martinis now. Come on.
We'll have you blocked, man.
Yeah, we'll have you blocked. That's great.
I did Times Square 10 years ago. Yeah, because they lock you in now, right? You can't leave. You can't go to the bathroom, right? I mean, it's just like, I don't know why anyone would want to do that. I really don't.
I did that 30 years ago.
Yeah?
Yeah, that was something I said I'd never do again. I did it. Yeah. Are we already scouting places for season 9? Not yet. We're going to start really getting into that next week. That's
so true, yeah.
That's our big thing.
Next week, you think that will start? You'll start to...
Yeah, I didn't want to start...
It's
this week's
February,
kind of a...
yeah.
This week's kind of a...
But it's usually February where you start to go on your trips.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. Boy, it just... There's no...
Yeah.
The sun does not set on Kevin O'Leary.
Yep. All right. Well, should we?
Yes,
your sister's not backing up. Her facts.
Yeah, we're waiting, Katie.
Yeah, she threw a bomb at us and ran away.
Leonardo. What they're all named after? Raphael.
Hold on. Jeff's backing her up.
Jeff. Well, Jeff's correct. She's correct. The person that created Turtle, the comic book, was from there. Wow. Well, there we go.
How do we not feature that on the show?
I have no idea. That's crazy. I always just thought they were Japanese. I don't know.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, that's great. All right, Katie. Good fact here.
All right.
So what's next week?
Next week, we are really excited to be going back down under to Melbourne.
Guess what I took home with me?
Not that.
A wallaby. Is that a wallaby? Yeah, it's a wallaby.
A wallaby?
It's not a kangaroo. It's a wallaby. Yep.
Yeah, so we're going back to Australia, to Melbourne, and there might be gin involved next week. I haven't figured it out because we visited a pretty amazing distillery there.
I can't believe I'm standing after that season. We had 2 gin. Well,
I mean, yeah. That's a lot.
What did Jeff say? Splunkered? I'm splunkered?
When will London be? We're working on London always.
Colleen Casey. The turtles weren't created below the streets of New York. In fact, they were created in the... a modest okay. I thought you were giving us some real facts. In fact, they were created in a modest 2-story house in Dover, New Hampshire. That's right.
Wow. Okay. All right. So we will see everyone back at 9 p.m. Eastern Thursday.
Yes.
To talk about Melbourne. Maybe you'll wear your scarf you got from the Aussie Rules football.
Oh boy, yeah. I gotta find that one. Yeah, it is somewhere.
That's somewhere.
Snockered. Thank you, Jeff. Snockered.
Yeah, so really looking forward to that. And everyone have a great week. Mm-hmm. And we'll see you in a week. Thank you.
Bye. Bye, everyone.